Good morning, everyone. It's September 9th, 9/9/24. We're at the Neutral Zone. There's Scott, and I'm Jason. Aloha.
Good morning.
Boy, I was saying when I came in, Scott, you want this seat? He said, no, I like that seat.
I like it over here.
We're here at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Maui Neutral Zone, Dream Maui. We have Dream Maui 1, 2, 3, and 4, Scott.
Wow.
And all that was retrieving archives and kind of saying, wait a minute, let's put it all out there for people to enjoy.
There you go.
And just so you know, because Scott Bushnell has been my summer replacement host. He calls me the Bionic Man now that I had what I thought was an In-N-Out burger experience. It was a little bit more. They replaced my right hip joint. And, you know, when I watched the little simulated video before it started, I saw they went in, they separated, zip, 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 and I stopped. I said, oh, that's great, Dad. I don't want to really see it. But afterwards, and I see they put an anchor and a whole thing.
Big deal.
In better, a little more than an hour.
Rock and roll.
Had me walking out of the hospital.
And see, all the guests were calling in saying, well, when is Jennifer coming back? And I go, no, it's not that kind of surgery.
Well, I thought about that. It could be. I mean, you can do that stuff now in just a heartbeat.
I don't know.
And I don't know. That's the stuff that, you know, you have to have the right chemistry to even envision that.
I don't want that chemistry.
That's not in my genes.
No.
I am so happy to be back, and mostly I'm happy to be back. I've enjoyed the time that we've spent on the air. Please jump in. Don't wait for me.
No. You know, I don't want to slap you in the face, but I read the news this morning. Guess what? So, according to This Morning, nonpartisan nonprofit partnership announced today the 2024 Samuel J. Heyman Service to America Medal Winners Award goes to the EPA's handling of the Lahaina Fire environmental cleanup.
It won an award?
They won the top award in the nation for the best. Not me.
It's not in here. Right?
Okay. No, but it's the EPA equivalency to winning an Academy Award for the best handling.
You have that link?
It's on Maui News now. It just came out.
Oh, that is just absurd.
Yeah. I read this and I went, oh, Jason's going to love this one. Did you see that? What's that?
Tony, our engineer, came in and picked up a phone that was ringing right here.
Oh, wow.
And neither you nor I even knew. See, we're a call-in talk show. We don't even know when a call is ringing. I heard it ringing.
Oh, my gosh.
But I didn't know how to pick it up.
So, yeah, it's like, hey.
That really is an absurdity, considering that the first thing on my agenda when I come back is to check in with everybody I know related to the Oluwalu temporary site.
Yeah. Yeah,
How is that a possibility?
Jason, this is part of the world we live in today, is that everyone grades their own papers. You remember that? Have you ever taken any college classes where the professor said, how do you think you did, Scott? And I went, I'm just freaking amazing. But, yeah, the reality is, you know.
Is that really true?
It is. Well, that's what's kind of going on in the planet.
I guess
Actually, this is a nonpartisan, non-profit.
I can't hear me. I want to make sure we're balanced and showing.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I'm only hearing you from in the room. I'm not hearing you on your mic very well.
All right, well, how about that?
That's a little bit better. Yeah, you might pick your mic up a bit.
All right, so I'll get closer.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, I think that what's happening here is really absurdity. The FDA, we talked about it before. You put it
the
clearly.
EPA, yeah.
The EPA, they don't have things in their choices and to get an approval for such a thing. Okay.
There we go.
Thank you, Tony.
He's amazing.
He's the host with the most.
He is.
And he has his own show 4 days a week.
I know. If you want to find out.
Tony
hey,
Midnight.
Tony, I got a question for you. We can't find the movie 28 Days, but we'll get to that later.
28 Days.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't find it.
It's streaming somewhere.
We've been looking.
It's gotta be.
We'll get back to here we are at the EPA winning their Academy Award.
I think Sandra Bullock is more important.
I probably,
I think
yeah.
when I realized that we've had all these solutions that have been in existence, more than existence, for decades that haven't been approved,
Right.
and then we were given an abortion plan, and now it's considered the best in the country for the year,
Yep.
is almost, I don't know if they can throw me off the internet because I think that that's a lot of hooey.
No, we've all got different opinions, and I honestly, 30 years ago, I was serving on a committee.
They've destroyed our housing.
They have. We have people.
Just that alone, this swath, they should help everyone on Maui. I know people that weren't in the burn zone are now in the homeless zone because their homes, so much stuff has happened.
So we have 3,000 new non-documented immigrants on Maui in the last 2 years, but they're living somewhere.
3,000?
Undocumented.
Okay.
That was on the Department of Immigration Standards and that.
Does that mean they don't want to tell you who they are?
They don't know who they are. This is their estimate for each of they have breakdowns of each of the islands. So we've added 20 million people to our roll that we don't know who they are, but they're living somewhere. So if we subtract half of that out, we should have room for everybody to have a home.
Only problem really is, in my mind, the thing that really is when I think of those numbers, and we should have and we could have, here we are now. I'm sure that all those people, not all of them are rapists.
No.
And,
they just come through the door.
But I also say, when someone doesn't qualify, whether they're in Halemakua and they don't have enough points to qualify for a bed, what do you do when you're...
Right.
So here these people, they came, and here they are now. And clearly, there's in the mix, if you look closer, you're going to find more things.
Oh, absolutely.
But in my mind, for the most part, it's people that are living.
Yeah.
What do you do with the people don't... Now that you've taken... That's what the FEMA people did.
Yeah.
They took people out of places they were living, paid huge numbers. That now threw off the rental rates everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Mine's up by 500%.
And can't roll back. And I saw someone that was pushed out, had 2 weeks. The person was going to pay for 3 months. And, it suddenly changed when a one-bedroom was $2,300.
Right.
$4,600 down payment. Mm-hmm. That's a one-bedroom in Wailuku.
And a 750 credit score.
Oh, I forgot about credit scores.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So let's step back here.
So what do we do? I mean,
Well, Jason, we had this strange event in the 70s. Most of us back in the 70s and 80s read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was just
okay.
Landmark book we had in high school.
You guys know that book? You should.
Oh, you should know One
Ken Kesey.
Okay, yeah, Ken Kesey. And then we had this movie, Jack Nicholson, his breakout movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Great movie, filmed at the Oregon, in Oregon there.
Was it?
And what it did was it shined a very dark light on our mental health programs across the country. And all of a sudden, funding for state mental health facilities dried up, and they quit funding mental health facilities, in-house mental health facilities, and they sent that burden over to the hospitals. And the sad part is a large part of that burden went to our corrections system. And I can guarantee you that if we took one fraction of what we sent to Ukraine to buy guns and ammo and bombs, we could have built billion-dollar facilities in every state to help with people who are not criminals but need more care in-house, because we don't have those anymore.
You know why I want to stop for a second? Because I'm just coming back and wanting to celebrate being back. And what you brought up, the first thing I hear is, and I put this in a funny way, because, Scott, I wonder, when we look at this and we say, okay, here's changes that we propose we want to do. Yeah, but when you compare it to Ukraine, now it's getting political. Meaning,
it's just money.
Money. But I'm saying, I want our audience to hear the issues in pure.
Yeah.
Because whatever the money went for, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, we just need to spend it at home.
Let me just you say and I have lived. Yeah. Me probably more. I'm old. I'm 73.
Oh God.
Okay, so what that means truly is that when you talked about having decentralized mental health care, local, taken care of as part of the regime of life, that suddenly got centralized into a hospital, and then they became sort of the outcast, and then with all the things going on with technology and everything and funding, it became something that wasn't in someone's face, and then marginalized, and then disbanded.
Spot on. Is that
Jason. A good summary?
That's an excellent summary.
So now that I know that, when I'm going into, let's say, this election season,
right,
I don't want to put someone in who believes good things that also is susceptible to being part of something,
to being part of the cabal or part of
I even think of the Trump thing. I have such a deep challenge with Robert Kennedy's decision, for example,
Tulsi
to align
Gabbard's.
with that this guy, and you could say, oh no, he wasn't, whatever his character, he's going to be a good president even though he does this, and just don't put your daughters near him, and be cool. Whatever I'm saying.
No, we're not being political.
I don't know. Donald Trump is an abortion.
Well, I think the big question here, Jason, was it's not Donald Trump. I think it was the hijacking of the Democratic Party, and 12 million people voted for Joe Biden, and they've been disenfranchised.
Anyway, when
Bobby Kennedy, a generational Democrat, got shunned.
Well,
That's the only reason.
What I see is that for Kennedy to align with the party in power makes no sense. He's running against that.
That's not the party. 12 out of the last 18 years, 12 out of the last 16 years, the Democratic Party is the party of power. You've mixed that up.
Oh, wait. No, I'm not looking at any of that.
Okay.
I'm talking about my understanding of RFK, and that's why I'm saying.
Right.
Because you're bringing it into other pieces that I appreciate.
Yeah.
And when
I was working on RFK's committee. Yeah.
But you also know that I've been nothing, if anything, green. I'm right now
absolutely.
Green Party.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? That is right. When I look at my tenets of what I ran on and still run on now, the Coalition of Sanity, I read it.
Right.
I was spot on 30 years ago.
Right.
I'm still on that.
And you align with Bobby Kennedy perfectly.
So, and I do, but I can't endorse Trump.
Well, I think all we've got, Jason, is you're either pro-war or you're pro-peace. We're right back to the 70s. Democratic Party hasn't put anybody in legally as far as they broke all their committee rules to do what they did. And I think that upset Tulsi. It upset Bobby. It upset countless people across the board. I don't think anybody wants to vote for Trump. We just don't have a choice.
Well, that's where I have the greatest challenge.
Don't vote.
Well, no, my greatest challenge is that I am totally blocked on Trump.
That's fine.
That's my challenge.
That is.
And I don't know Kamala Harris, but I don't take a big paintbrush and think that all the Democrats have swallowed the Kool-Aid.
Well,
You can see something
Yeah.
on TV, and again, when you talk about individual things,
right.
I mean, yes, I felt real comfortable with Bobby Kennedy until his alignment with Trump.
Well,
I don't
Yeah.
need to even talk about it. It doesn't align with my heart, which
what
just can't
aligns
vote
with me
for
is
Trump.
Bobby Kennedy being the head of the Department of Interior that's going to be in charge of all environmental things
Well,
in the United
if
States.
that is what eventually happens,
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
I can be comfortable with
Yeah.
whatever I see. Look at now.
Yeah.
You just said you started your thing with, guess what? The EPA got an award. And so Jason's listening.
Yeah,
I'm
he
listening,
is.
Right?
Yeah. I was shocked, Jason. I mean, I honestly read that in the parking lot. I was just like, wait. I'm going, oh my
Well
gosh.
said, Scott.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Here's all these really good people you've had in that are very dialed into the environment. I'm like, okay. What I do next time I show up here, I will definitely have some background on this award and these people and all of that.
When you say the
because-
next time you show up,
oh,
Scott.
Jason, you're back and you're black. You're here.
no, but I already talked to you about doing a spin-off show.
Oh God.
We don't have, but we have, and just, I'm trying to find, I've done 1,000 shows over the last 30 years. So I going and finding them, and I see, okay, I started 4 YouTube channels.
There you go.
And then I have one on Vimeo, and so it's like, but then at our men's group,
Yeah.
by the way, they miss you.
I just need to get my head out.
Anyway, they'd love to see it. But at the men's group, when I was talking about should I continue the website, I don't have the money to pay this guy in India and the whole deal. I realized when he said it, he called it, I used to have an ego. This guy makes millions of dollars a year.
Oh, yeah.
He's a speaker, speaks to CEOs all around the country. And he said, I used to have an ego website, but we really didn't need it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up for you are great at what you do.
I
don't agree at some of the things.
No.
Only in the fact that if you were sitting on the button, I would feel comfortable that I could sit and talk to you and you would make the right choice.
Right.
I do know that you favor decentralization, which I favor. So how did that go? It's not green, it's decentralization. I don't think it is Republican. I got to get this party stuff and blow it up. I call it a coalition of sanity. I started it 30 years ago. I still have it.
Let's just roll this back. While you were gone, I've been talking about Jefferson, Ellsworth, Monroe, all these, and I've been reading those papers, and Jefferson keeps coming back to this point in all his supportive documents during the Continental Congress and that, saying it is best, our government is best served locally, which has been reverberated through presidents through the years. It's like Maui takes care of Maui first, and then if we need some help, buying something to build something, that's one thing. But if you just want to come in here and tell us what to do, that's another thing. And I think we've crossed that line across the country where instead of what's good for my neighborhood, what's good for my kids and my grandkids' schools, might not be good for somebody in upstate New York. So why should we have a centralized area telling us how to run our schools, run our neighborhoods,
Run our environment.
our environment?
I mean, I really truly say in the last decades, solutions could have stopped the abortion that they gave an award
If they
to.
were local, they would have.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We don't disagree.
We're living it. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look and I went straight for the jugular.
You did.
The
I
money,
dialed you
the
in, and
rent.
you were a bulldog. You did it.
I'm sorry.
No, you were perfect. You were spot on. But the overwhelming issue was we were fighting against centralized or government versus local government. That was the bottom line.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the EPA
and that's
or
again
anything
why
else.
I say,
yeah.
when I'm thinking of that, the person as president, no matter how much we can agree, I don't trust the Trump president.
Okay.
That's
all
all I'm
fine.
saying. But I agree with what you said. I can agree with what
Absolutely.
Tulsi Gabbard said.
Yeah.
I can agree with what anyone said. When I saw Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney voting for Harris, that's a way of
That's a red flag.
Well, it's specifically saying, not this guy.
No.
And
What
that's
that
how
said
I
to me,
feel.
Jason,
That's how I feel.
when I read that, I was like, who made 9 out of the last decisions in the Middle East?
Decisions to what?
To how we went to war in Iraq, how we went into Afghanistan. Who was that? Dick Cheney. Anything that Dick Cheney does, I'm going the other way.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Again, because an idea aligns with some guy that we have a challenge with, doesn't put me in the frame of mind to vote for a known toxic presidential choice.
Well, that's yours, Jason.
That's
I
me.
just want to know the record. I vote on people's records.
No, but just like we say, it's all birds of a feather flock together.
How does the CIA?
How do you? We don't flock nowhere. I don't flock with Dick Cheney.
But you do now.
Well, an idea.
And can you imagine? Can you imagine 20 years ago, the head of the CIA speaking at the Democratic National Convention? Can you even fathom that? Even in the 80s and 90s? No. And yet,
well, again,
there we go.
I look at the world right now as sort of like someone took the guardrails off conventional.
They did.
And they said, everything's conventional. We all are our own universe. We all fit together. You know, and I can believe in all homogenous, but I also am aware that people don't draw lines. They don't know us and them. They also don't know whose idea is whose, which idea is real, what is real, what is Memorex, how do you pay for this? We have ideas, and we don't care what it's going to cost, and we should just bomb them. We should know. It's so unreal right now,
I
Scott.
just want somebody that's never started a war.
Well, again, when I hear that, I think to myself, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I know that in New York City, when Trump didn't pay those people, he started a war. People. No, again, I'm saying
That's
the way
pretty.
I
That's
hear it.
pretty loud brush to stroke with somebody's private business.
It might be a loud brush, but I am very happy to use it.
Well, you do. You do it frequently. Yeah.
But I think it's important for me to say black is black and white is white in the way I feel. I'm only talking about me.
Right.
I don't think that there's other people that should judge by what I judge by.
Okay.
Let them put their own finger on the scale when they see how much corned beef costs.
Right. So let's look at it this way. Have you ever had a business where you haven't been paid by a client? Ever had a business? You ever owned a business where you haven't been paid?
Of course.
Yeah. See, when I had a little handyman deal when I was in Southern Oregon. When I was doing my rehab for my neck, I was doing small projects. I had a company fold on me, and it cost me $40,000. It's just the risks of business. If your quality of work doesn't show up,
I guess it's just as simple as I saw the first time, no matter what anyone will tell me.
Yeah.
My reaction to the first round of Trump and after the election, no matter who had happened, whatever, there are better choices than Donald Trump, and I am not comfortable with him feeling like he is above every law.
I would love to see the laws he's above.
As he's president, we're going to push it back until after the election to see how we're going to penalize
as long
this
as
guy.
we can quit giving promotions to people that have been failing at their jobs. I'll be really happy. And I think that's across the board. I think that's what I opened with today. I
What?
opened with getting a big award for what Jason and I somewhat feel that someone failed at their job in Lahaina with removing
They're in the middle of failing right now.
Right, and they got an award for it. There we go. There is case in point of what needs to be fixed.
What is that?
Keep giving awards to people that are failing doing
What
from
would
our
what
federal
would Donald
government.
Trump do to help Maui?
I
What
think,
was that now?
Okay, let's dial that back. What will Donald Trump do? He's already done it. He's going to have Bobby Kennedy in there in charge of our environmental practices. And that to me is a win-win. That guy has been a hero in the environmental green
And if
machine.
that happens and it proves to be a positive thing, I'm all for it. But I don't see Trump or Kennedy winning the state of Hawaii. So from where I live, right now,
Well, when I watched the Trump rally the other day, when I passed it out on the Palani and it was over 3 miles long, I was like, wow, that kind of surprised me.
what? On the Pi'ilani Highway.
Yeah, there was cars for 3 miles with Trump banners and everything just down the road.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah, I was just going to get something at Home Depot and I went, well, that's a shock. And they actually went down South Key Road. It was pretty cool. I've never seen anybody get that
I've
kind
never
of support.
anything like that
Yeah,
before.
I was like, what?
That's an interesting
I
take.
was thinking, oh, there's just
That's
a
an
couple cars.
interesting
And then I
tactic.
went, oh, man, this is going to stretch all the way to Kaului.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, what the
Well,
heck?
good for them. I hope that
Yeah.
I hope that you hear what I said. No matter
Oh, I
how
do. No,
many
I
good
always do.
ideas,
Yeah.
and I want to implement them here with those that are here, and I like decentralized power.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
but I believe that if there's federal dollars collected that could come to us,
Right.
we should say thank you.
Absolutely. No,
But with
I'm
the
not-
rules.
with a caveat. With a caveat.
I
Yeah.
cannot believe temporary dump site or temporary disposal site with a future thing that we spend all that time identifying, and then we choose, and then they can't get it. So what? So there's still now we're done with the dumping of the stuff in Lahaina. We've cleared it all.
Here's
You
your
cleared
gold star. Here's
you cleared
your gold
the footprints
star.
of the houses, but the land around the footprints, they don't get cleared. We know that the toxicity levels already, by knowing what's happened in history, is at a level where nothing is safe. Nothing is safe there. Nothing is safe there.
And
But,
that's worth a vote for Bobby Kennedy. in my
what
book.
about Olawala? What are we going to do about that? We're going to talk for how long until we do what?
Oh.
We'll have one rainstorm.
We're going to give him
over
another
the
gold
top.
star. Give him another gold star for that great job.
Well, again, let's just say that Kennedy and Trump don't make it in. So,
They disagree a lot.
again,
Yeah.
so here we are. So,
Okay.
what's the difference in the activity we would take? Remember, we're not going to rely on them. What are they going
No.
to do to help? They're going to help bring money, but the plan has to be, what are we going to do? Who's that? Is that you, Mayor Bisson, and you, council? You that are running for council? We have a real problem here. We know that you could box this stuff up. Send it to the middle of Utah. I mean, I had 8 or 9 shows on this.
Mm-hmm.
When
You
you were
did.
in the middle
Yeah,
of it. You
no,
brought
yeah.
me that story?
Yeah, there
This
you
guy.
go. I lit
I'm
that
not
fire.
resting on my laurels. I
Nope.
have people in my world like Scott, who sounds like he likes Trump, but I appreciate
I like Bobby
you don't
and I like Telsey.
You don't like Trump as much as you like some of the
Bobby,
people.
I like Telsey,
Well,
and I like J.D. Vance.
Well, no, we'll talk about him in just a minute. That's how you get back on the show. You
There
bring
you
up subjects
go. I
like
just
J.D.
bring up everybody that pisses you off. There you go.
No, J.D. Vance, but I think what pisses
Have
me
you watched
off-
his movie?
Oh, yes.
Wasn't that nice?
It doesn't
It's
feel...
heartfelt. It's a true story. I read the book, too.
well, again, you know, you sound like what do they say? A subject changer. You know, if I was having a debate and I was having Tulsi lessons, I would, or who was the other guy I heard about? Matt Gates.
Oh, there
He's
you
a
go.
piece of work by himself.
You know,
He's another story.
he's got to be a piece of work, otherwise he wouldn't get any coverage.
Well, then that's why he gets covered.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a piece of work.
Well, here's my prediction for 2028. I see J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard as the president and vice president.
Well, that's a scary thought.
Tulsi Gabbard picks up the phone, generally speaking, and she has been and that's another asset for Hawaii because she will be in the cabinet.
She's welcome to join us if you can get her.
Wow, not any. She's everywhere.
No, I'm just saying
Wow.
to you. She's
Yeah.
welcome to join us.
Yeah.
If you feel you can get Tulsi Gabbard to come here, or Bobby Kennedy.
Oh,
You know, Eddie Garcia, who was on our show,
right.
and is the West Side guy
Definitely.
at Olawala, right? Eddie
Yeah.
Garcia. You guys remember all these shows. He's the farmer, and he's training people and helping them with housing and doing all. Anyway.
Right. Good man.
That's why.
Yeah.
Now, at a federal level, I can't give the ball to Trump.
Okay.
Why
That's
is that
fine.
a problem?
Well, no, it's common with a lot of people.
What's common with me?
Yeah, because of programming. You know, cognitive behavioral change is what
You
I
think-
teach,
No.
and it's been weaponized and used against our population.
So how do we stop this?
Well, back when they did the
How do
Patriot
we
Act,
get it where, when it's all done, whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, you and I will stop our dialogue about it and start doing things to help each other on a more tangible way that's going to
I think
make
just
a real difference?
just making it
How are
sure
we going to
that
love each other again?
I think everybody
America
does.
gonna-
I think everybody does.
What's-
The only reason anybody's even watching the media is because it either feeds their anger or reinforces their belief system. They're not watching it for information anymore. It is, you actually have to buy into a university website now, which I've had to do because it is impossible to use Google, any of the search engines, and actually get information. You have to pay a university to get into their library where nothing has been. And if it is opinionated, there is a caveat and there is a footnote to the author and their
No, I understand.
push. Yeah, the internet isn't, the real internet's not free. And that's what a lot of that is the hugest message in the world needs to know is the internet's not free. They're using you, they're using your information, they're using everything you click on to sell you something or target your harsh feelings for one person or love of the other person to create an advertisement that makes you want to buy. Back at the Patriot Act, let's go back to 9/11. We had this Patriot Act. I hated the Patriot Act, but there was one thing in there that they removed, which would increase the control by the FCC to make sure there was no subliminal advertising on broadcasts of media over the internet. So if you go to a movie, you watch network television, they can't put subliminal programming in their advertising or anything because the FCC monitors that. The internet has absolutely no rules about putting those flashes that you can't see that program your brain.
I'm not sure exactly why you're bringing this up.
Because we're being used.
Well, now that we know that,
Well, I think we do.
well, do we?
Well, I think people.
How many people give it as much thought as you have?
Probably very few. I have a covey of friends that actually go, that we bounce off each other and go, what did you get, you know? And it's like when I watch, well, when Trump was president, and this is something that was really kind of throwing me a curve because I was going through, I was spending a lot of time in the hospital back then. And I would catch the news, I would see a broadcast of his speech, and then I would go to the whitehouse.gov and read the text of the speech. And I would go, well, they left that out. They moved this paragraph around. They moved things around. And I'm like going, well, wait. This is a direct transcript from the President of the United States on official pages, and it's different from the pieces I'm seeing on network news. And I'm not talking about just one station or the other. I'm talking about all of them. They either sway or move things or move words around to either sell this or sell that, because if they didn't, our republic process is so boring. It is really boring and tedious. There is no flash. There is no glimmer and glash and fireworks. It's just hard grinding out of subjects. It's like you getting in the folks on island that are really vested here and talking about how their issues and how they're not being resolved. But we have to talk about it, and it's this la entity off in Washington, D.C. that won't come in and give you their side of the story. So there we go. We're back to that centralized, decentralized idea, because you brought in brilliant friggin' people, Jason, to talk about the environmental impact of what happened in Lahaina. But
I was gifted with what Akaku and
Yeah.
these Hawaiians, along with Eddie Garcia, did. You
Right.
see? I just noted it and thought it was worth more than just sitting on public access TV.
Yeah,
That's all.
absolutely. And when I started
So
following
just
what you were
want to
doing,
make clear.
yeah, it's,
I didn't put that together.
no,
That was the people on the west side that put their money where their mouth is. Eddie and them spent 40 or 60 grand
oh, easily.
to get that information compiled with
Yeah.
those people for
Right.
solutions that weren't looked at by these people that just got an award as the top.
Yeah,
This is the absurdity at its highest.
it is. And Jason, the invites I sent to those folks, nobody wanted to come in and talk about it. After you and I kind of fired you up on this issue, then I started researching, and I went, we just sold the farm and all the animals to somebody else to run it for us, basically.
EPA.
Yeah. And I go, the EPA is going to follow their rules. They're like God. You know, there is no, hey, this guy over here on this farm's been farming this way successfully, and we're not going to use his practices because he's not part of our cabal over in Washington, D.C. And you ran head first into that, and you brought people in with brilliant friggin' ideas on how to handle that.
Yeah.
And they just got stifled over and over again, because basically brilliant $100,000 events that they went to research this, they got wadded up and thrown against the wall. I know what I'm doing because I'm from the federal government and I'm here to save you. And that's basically what you came up against. And I was just like, oh my God. I was thinking when we started on this road for Lahaina to making sure all the waste was processed correctly, I thought this was going to be an open dialogue. I didn't think it was going to be hitting your head against the wall. It was a harsh awakening. I kind of saw it coming, but I'm like, man, Jason's bringing in good people, and they're just getting beaten up. They're not even getting beaten up. They're not even giving a place at the table. Exactly.
I tell you, I feel like I've been snubbed.
Absolutely.
You know, on the Rodney Dangerfield of Maui. I've been talking about this stuff for 30 years.
I know, but you've been sober.
Well, still, it really, really,
Yeah.
You know, the truth. But every time I tell my story about Pundi, the statue in front of the MAC,
Yeah.
and how I booked the opening New Year's Day of the Cultural Center, that should be understood to be a political move for what it was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so much going on here that we should fix. I mean, I have a personal grudge because now, with the right moves, we could have everything going much better here, and we could do the housing things they tell us are not possible.
Yeah.
It's all possible right now.
Everything is possible, but at least have a seat at the table, Jason.
They don't listen to me.
No.
Haven't.
Everyone needs a seat at the table, and I think that's the Trump appeal.
No.
I think
That's gotta be an appeal.
I think that's the appeal of Telsey and Bobby, is to say it's more important to be at the table than to bang my head against the wall. And that
could be. That's a very attractive thing.
Yeah.
I'll take that into consideration. Well, Trump, no.
No. And you know
See
what?
him, I mean,
He's
I
in
don't
4
like the
years he's
guy
gone,
that's
you'll never see him again.
Well, I'm concerned
We almost didn't
about,
see him again already. But
You don't fool around about first day dictator. You don't do things like that.
well, there again, read the quote.
I'll read the quote and
And compare it to what the media picked out of that.
Well, again, now that we all know this,
Yeah.
stop it, Donald. Stop it.
And media, stop cutting up people's presentations.
He used it to his advantage. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I would too if I was him.
No, not him. The media.
The media does
the big
it.
dollar people. They can't sell him. He is their number one rate getter. When they get angry with him, their ratings go up. CNN brought back Brian Seltzer, who I never thought would come back. They just brought him back because he's such an angry, vicious person. But his ratings were high when Trump was in, but as soon as Trump lost, his ratings crashed. So they brought him back, and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming. And I'm like, okay.
That's an interesting perception.
Yeah.
You know,
it's money, 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 money.
You know, I mean, I can honestly say that all those things don't feel real to me because the problems here locally are things that could be handled locally.
Right. And we don't disagree.
And so, although those federal decisions are important, I just don't like Trump. And no matter how many times you'll tell me.
I'm not. Have I ever
I
said?
hope that Bobby Kennedy
I like him?
and Tulsi Gabbard stand up at the meetings and have a voice to be able to help us do the right things. That's great.
Yeah. Have they
But I
ever
don't-
not stood up?
I'm not having to vote for them.
No.
And I have no challenge. I probably think Bobby Kennedy thought long and hard before he decided to align with Donald Trump.
He put the
knowing-
country in front of.
Right.
Yeah. Party.
And I could say that too, but I don't think that, like when you brought up Ukraine, there are so many opinions. I do not like, what do we say? I want to everyone put their weapons
Peace.
down.
Right. And that's all that Trump has ever said.
He may say what he wants. I don't want him anywhere near there.
Okay.
I don't trust him.
Well, no. Why?
I
What
don't
is he?
trust
What
him.
did he do? Let's
What did he do to
let's
me?
just talk policy. What policy did he do that you disagree with?
I don't even need that.
Okay.
I don't even need that in my. You know why?
Why?
Because even if he had policies I disagreed with, I wouldn't remember them.
Okay.
Really. But the thing is, right now, our budget is so screwed up. To me, the balance of the budget thing, I really do believe, I don't know what the trigger is, that our financial system is going to get tousled in the air.
It's on an 80-year cycle. That's not questionable.
Again, as many years as it's questionable, gold is through the ceiling.
Right. But the gold wouldn't be through the ceiling if the tech industry crashes, because the tech industry is the largest user of gold in the production of absolutely every technology. My MacBook, my iPhone, my watch. It's necessary. Let's go back 2,500 years, Jason. Let's go back.
No, I'm just
this
thinking-
was an important thing that Thomas Jefferson.
You don't mean
No.
2,500 years.
2,500 years.
Oh, okay.
But something that he had made, he loved Socrates, he loved the Greeks. Strong minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Weak minds discuss people.
So when you
Socrates.
hear that,
And I read when I read our founding fathers read that, and it's still prevalent today.
so
Okay.
would you say, and I know it's obvious, that's Donald Trump. Why is he calling people Pocahontas? And
5
that
6
little,
years ago, yeah, he's your everyday American dock worker. He really is. If you're out in the working class and you're pounding nails into a place, or if I'm at the jail, it's the vernacular. We have rap music that's telling you to do ungodly things using the N-word, which really offends me. For a white guy, that's kind of weird, but it offends me. But they just, this whole genre outside of our beautiful little place here on Maui, is more angry. It's more vernacular. It's more gutter. And it's much different than the world we live in here in this bubble. We are so blessed to live on this beautiful place.
That's why I get back to, as much as we talk about those other things, and they might be important to some, I'd much rather talk about what's really going on here and how we're going to fix it. How we're going to fix this rental thing now.
Let's talk about
I don't want to
what
hear
we
all
fixed.
these things about the federal government and what they did. I don't care.
If we can create a strong economy, we don't have a homeless problem.
Well, we have to do that locally.
We do. But we've given up control, Jason.
How is that?
Because we.
How is that?
When the federal government
came
came in here and said we don't want your sugar cane anymore. We don't want your pineapples. We can get those from Honduras. We can get those from down into Solomon. We can do this, and all of a sudden our cash cow, and everybody signed up and said, sure, bring in these big hotels. They're going to pay union scale. And then all of a sudden, by the late 80s, 90s, the union scale for hotel workers all of a sudden fell off. And it fell off, and it fell off. And it hasn't kept up. So
we know that.
Yeah, we know that.
So, Scott.
Yes.
I'm stopping you.
Okay.
Those are all things that happen, and like you said, they're decisions made somewhere else. We already know $15 an hour
wage. Well, it's 18
here.
now at McDonald's.
Well,
yeah, it's crazy.
But they also have no customers because the prices went so high. I went in to get a double cheeseburger and saw something like $5. I saw the sandwiches in the meals, 16, 17, 20 bucks. I thought, and I watch and see nobody there except at night when they're the only ones open and people can drive through. Yeah. They can still get business.
Right. Yeah, I don't
know these places. I don't think they know what to do with themselves.
No, they've all been shackled, so here we are.
The Sonics that was over near Safeway, when someone said, hey, there's a Sonics on the island, we should go. And he got me a hamburger and fries and a drink, and him the same. And it was $35, and he was like, "Whoa!"
Andrew and I went and had 2 milkshakes, and it was $23. I'm like, $23 for 2 milkshakes. I can go to Times and buy a gallon of ice cream, 3 gallons of ice cream for that, and make it at home.
To make it.
Yeah, just go stir it up at home.
We can't afford this, and who's visiting here that can afford this? Who could pay $500, $700 a night for a room?
Right.
And what family is now going to say, "Wait, I can't get a condo because they needed it for rental"? That's good. Why are we going to Maui? Their Lahaina's been completely wiped out. That'll take at least a decade to get back. Right. To get some sun in Kaanapali, to go to Kapalua, to be landlocked in my hotel. Oh, they have beautiful things in Maui. Yeah, but the people are unhappy because none of them can afford their rent.
Well, we're giving a place to live, but they took away their jobs.
Oh, well, they weren't in the burn zone. Let them be on the street.
Oh, God, yeah.
We have nowhere to put them, nowhere to have facility. Mm-hmm. To me, that's way better than... Not that I don't like Thomas Jefferson stories.
Well, they're the Federalist Papers.
Socrates. No, but the fact is...
They warned us.
Much more down to earth, because I would say, let's create this kind of activity and these jobs. There'll be lots of different categories there, and that we can trade it for credits on these different housing choices. We're going to be building these places with people. That's another set of jobs, okay? And then we're going to be growing food, and these are going to be. You want to talk about keeping things local?
Oh, yeah.
We can solve our housing and our food crisis, and we can have education, and we can align the television stations and the college and create.
Well, I think.
Why don't we see these things happening?
I think Vice President Harris is your candidate.
No. She's not local. See,
but if she's talking about general control of all these things instead of letting them be ground up.
See, you're talking still on the federal. And Scott,
I love lighting you up.
Well, you don't really like me. You know when I say you don't light me up, and I say, am I right? It's 7 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't light me up only because I want to. It's not that I see past it. It's important to me also.
Yeah.
Those issues are important to me, and I may not agree with the net outcome in a Harris regime, but I don't look at it with the same.
No. You look at it through.
I am right here, local, knowing that we have more power here. If we don't do this here, we're going to be in hot water no matter who's president.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have toxicity here no matter who's president.
Exactly.
We're not going to have people housed no matter who's
president. As long as we don't have nuclear toxicity from mistakes.
No, but my point.
Right.
You're hearing my point.
I'm hearing it. And I respect you, Jason. We love talking. Jason and I, we talk like this even when we're not able to
Well, I want to get in the pool and start working my
get
leg.
you back in the water. We'll talk like this for an hour and a half, just walking back and forth in the pool.
No, but we don't disagree.
No, not at all. But
what happens is, my intention is to light up those. I'm not trying to be in power, but those that have the ability to do these things because they are them.
Right.
What do we call this? A coax? We're coaxing you? I have no power, but listen to what I said.
Right.
I talked about creating a solution to the housing and the employment, and you say, well, that's too much like socialism. That's not good. And
I didn't say
you didn't say that yet, but I mean,
No.
all the things that limit a solution that I don't have any limitation.
What kind of frustrates me is we've had solutions, then they became unpopular, so we eliminated them when we had a mental health facilities almost everywhere in the country.
Oh, I agree. It was decentralized. When you had a problem, you were handled in your own clinic or area.
And
then suddenly, when those facilities were centralized, in some ways it took, I guess, burden off the places individually.
It took the you and me out of it.
But it also disconnected the solutions because the families and the communities here, the hospital, then they said, no, we don't need hospitals. They diluted because they don't have the money and facilities to help in different ways. That's what they're having now with housing.
Right.
People have homeless. They're homeless people. They're homeless people. They're just like you, except they're homeless because they can't pay $2,300 for a one-bedroom.
Let's look at the greatest federal-run failure in housing, the Navajo Nation. All of our native
example. That was a horror story.
They still have shanties. They don't have running water. It's been 200 years.
There are solutions here with people. You've probably seen them up there on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Miggs who does these things with clay and building structures.
Yeah, the earth homes. Yeah, they're brilliant.
But there are so many alternative solutions that could be implemented here as an example to the world.
Absolutely.
But we don't do that. We don't create the room for it. And if we do have room for it, it's not being promoted. There's no what. But if we don't have dollars, but we have the ability to house someone or give them food and for the family. That's why I'm saying what I say.
Right.
We
I
can
don't
do
question
things
that,
here on an island
in
a unique way and be a great example of that love that we really would like to see.
But there's that analogy that I liked that was like, we really need to take care of all these folks that are out there, and we do need to do that. We need a mental health system that is multifaceted and doesn't overload our hospital system and doesn't overload that.
Well, you need people. You need qualified people, and you need facility.
And we're losing them because they're frustrated with all the paperwork.
We're so paperworked up. But I don't doubt that.
I'm case in point. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the clock. How many minutes we have, Scott?
I'm at 11:53.
Yeah, well, how many minutes left? What does that say?
Oh, I can't.
53. That means we have 6 minutes?
It's so fun to have you back. I have so much more fun.
The blind guy looking up at the screen.
That's okay. You got a deaf guy over here with his mic.
53. We have 3 minutes.
Cool.
You see, they get 3 minutes before the hour. And
it's so good to have you back.
Really?
Yeah, this is so much more fun.
Next week we have Davo, the artist.
I won't be here next week, Jason. I'm just I'll wander in.
And then Kelly King after that.
Cool.
And then Sue Mall coming back from a grandmother's conference in Peru.
Far out.
When you put it all together, we have a neutral zone.
Oh, yeah.
It's anything but neutral, but we like to talk about things, and you're a great.
Oh, we
Great.
have so much. It's always so fun
Been
sitting
great
in
having
for
you.
you.
And you
What
will
really
again.
surprises me, folks, is it is really difficult to get people to come in and talk
See
here.
that?
Oh, my goodness. You guys all need to just sign up.
They have no idea what it takes to make this show happen when you're one guy doing it.
Oh, my gosh. I researched for like 8-10 hours on those Federalist Papers to bring in an hour worth of content.
But your content is great. So come back, please.
Oh, I love it, Jason.
I hope that you'll want to come back.
Oh,
We have
God,
2
no.
minutes, but I must say, I have been missing being here, but I also feel if we don't get viewers and people don't share this show, we got nothing. Go to YouTube, Maui Neutral Zone, Jason Schwartz, Maui Arts and Music, Maui Environment. You're going to find so much stuff up there. So what? So we're not going for an election, Scott.
No.
We want people to share these ideas so that people that have the power to do these things listen to some ideas.
Right. And if you want to get a soapbox and bring it in, bring it in. That's what it's about.
Please do.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would have known about the Lahaina Ottawalu debacle if Jason hadn't brought it up.
No, they know about it.
They do now, but it was pretty quiet before that.
Well, it's not going to stay quiet because I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to revisit with a lot of the people you saw. We got 54 seconds.
You
and
got
then I'm
it,
gonna hit
buddy.
some buttons.
Good to have you back.
Look at the difference. See, look at this. My voice and your voice, they said that's equal the way we sit.
I guess I'm just too
That's
quiet.
good. No, you're good. Scott, it's really been a pleasure. Everyone out there, thank you for being nice to Scott. And thank
I
you for having
appreciate
me
all
back.
the input I got. I got so many questions.
Fantastic.
Man, that was
More
awesome.
to come.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everyone. I'm just looking for the countdown. But I'm really happy if you'll go to dreammaui.com, Maui Neutral Zone, YouTube. You're going to find so much up there, you're going to say, holy mackerel, Andy.